Hey, you guys. It's Denise Walsh here. Welcome to our Coaching for Coaches podcast, where each and every Monday. Oh, it says it didn't work. That's very sad. Okay. Well, I will share it then. Each and every Monday, we go live to talk through a psychology topic that will support you in becoming a better coach and or building a thriving business. And so, all right, here we go. I'm sharing it to the group since my strategy did not work. That's all right. We'll learn for next time. And so today we're going to talk about the science of overwhelm and stress and what it's trying to tell us and how we can step into and relight our spark. I don't know about the year that you've had, but 2024 was let's just say a year that builds strength. I had a lot of life happen this year, and when life is lifing like it does, it piles up. It can feel like a ton of pressure on our shoulders, and the easy thing to do is to shrink back and put our covers over our head and try to numb out or hide and not really make changes or do anything that feels hard because life already feels hard, right? And so when life already feels hard, it's not motivating to go learn a new skill or to go try new things or to show up when you don't feel like it. Can I get an amen? And so, what happens when life is lifing and we throw the covers over our head and we shrink back and we get smaller and we kind of wait and we're not stepping out and doing the things we know we need to do, is that our spark gets dim. Have you guys ever had that where you're just like, I'm not really feeling it? What used to be exciting is not exciting, or maybe you're just in the boredom of life. Like maybe what you're doing maybe used to light you up, but now it doesn't as much. And so you're just in this rhythm of whatever, what's next, the ho hum of life. And you guys, this is very normal, right? Like we all have life that happens. We all have life that pops up. We all maybe stretch and then get comfortable again, and then stretch some more and get comfortable again. And so let's talk about this rhythm of life and how overwhelm and stress are telling us something and what we can learn from it, and then how to relight our spark so that we don't stay in that overwhelm and hiding under our covers for too long, right? Like we all get a day and then it's time to get back into action. So if you've got any questions, feel free to post them in the chat here, and I will go through the chat at the end and answer any questions that you might have. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let me know if you're here live or listening to the replay. Okay, so here we go. What is stress? Stress is the body's natural response to challenges or threats. So basically, it's our body saying, something's not right. Like, this isn't it. Something's not right. We need help. You know what I mean? Like something's off kilter. And so stress is not necessarily the outside stuff. It's the response to that outside stuff that our body's experiencing. So it involves physiological, so our body's response, psychological, so our thinking and our emotions, and then behavioral changes, meaning we do something different, right? So when we're feeling stressed, we hide under our covers, we think more negative thoughts, our cortisol is screaming throughout our body, our stomach is in knots, our heart is palpitating, like we feel it. So the stress response is truly when our body goes from into fight or flight mode. And this is when brain comes from our head into our limbs, cortisol goes up, and we are thinking short term, not long term. We are kind of just in either frantic energy or like numbed energy. You know what I mean? And then burnout is when we have this chronic stress. It happen all of the time. So if you're in a chronic workplace, like if you're in a workplace, then you're experiencing chronic stress, or you've just got way too many plates going on. Like sometimes people will talk to me and they're like, I can't get anything done. And we talk about what they're doing. I'm like, yeah, you can't, because you got way too much on your plate. Like, no wonder things are falling. Like, we've got to say no to stuff, right? So burnout is truly when this stress response becomes your normal. Guys, think about this. How many people do you know live in burnout, like live in chronic stress? Like everything is always falling apart all the time. The house is always on fire. And this impacts our body consistently and long term, right? It impacts our inflammation. It creates cognitive impairments, meaning we have difficulty concentrating, difficulty making decisions. We maybe second guess ourselves consistently. So one step forward, two steps back, maybe recalling information. It increases emotional symptoms, so irritability, anxiety, depression. This chronic stress that leads to burnout impacts us body, mind, and spirit. We'll withdraw from social interactions, and maybe even rely on negative coping skills to help us like cope, right? Because we can't handle life. It feels way too overwhelming. And so we start to retreat. So stress itself is a natural sign from our body. Like stress is not bad. And sometimes we need stress or else we're bored, right? So we do want some stress, but when our stress is impacting our body, mind, and spirit in this way, it means something needs to change. And there's a few things that this could be telling us. Number one, there's too many plates spinning. There's an imbalance in life, right? So what I have clients do when they're talking through this and they're telling me like, everything is too overwhelming. Everything feels too hard. I can't get anything done. They're living in the world of what I call drama, which just means everything feels like drama. Not that they're being dramatic, but like truly everything feels too hard. Like you're overflowing, like everything, you're at an 8 or a 9. So everything is that's a volcano. Everything is like overflowing and it just feels really hard because it really does feel hard. And so that again is a sign you're living in fight or flight mode. So something needs to change. Do you have too many plates in the air? Do you have too many demands? So maybe it's not even like plates in the air. Maybe you've only got, you're taking care of your mom, or you've got work or your kids, but it feels like you are in charge of all the things all the time. And you've got too many perceived expectations. Like you can't do it all, right? We don't need to be super women. In fact, I used to be proud of my multitasking abilities until I realized that it was actually a detriment to my success. And so again, it's a call for boundaries. Maybe we need to not just say no to like to actual plates, like saying no to the youth group leader, or no to taking everybody dinner when they're sick, or no to staying late at work for no extra pay. Like maybe there's plates we need to say no to, but maybe we also need to make some boundaries, or maybe we need to ask for help, right? Who can you get to help with the kids? Who can you get to help with your business? Who can you get to help? And so again, these are just, it's interesting information for us to say, what is our stress and anxiety telling us? What is it saying? And then what can we do about it? So let me know about you. Have you felt overwhelmed in the past few years? Have you felt, I know with the economy shifting and changing over the past few years since COVID hit and all of these like family changes, there's a lot of different types of stress happening. So I know I have felt it. I'd love to hear from you what you've experienced too. So what I know is that stress and anxiety is telling us something. And so it's our job to listen to it. And then the cool thing is that we do have some control here. And I think what happens when we're feeling overwhelmed is that everything feels outside of our control. It feels too heavy, too hard. Like we don't know. And so we just shrink. But what I've learned, and I'm sure you've seen this too, in the midst of it feeling like that, is that there actually are some pieces you can control. And we really want to ask, what is within my control? And what are things that are outside of my control that I have to let go of and like release and not try to fix it all? Because we are the only ones that can get our spark back. We are the only ones that can rekindle our spirit. We cannot leave this to another person's job. Even you guys listening to this today is your choice to listen to something that you know will spark you, that will motivate you, that will get you out of a funk, right? And into excitement, motivation, focusing on your dreams. But you chose to listen. So, some unhealthy responses, right? These are the daily disciplines that are taking us in a direction that is not helpful, is that avoidance and denial. So, putting off task, escapism, all of those things, saying yes to like the short term gratification versus the long term gratification. Certainly, substance abuse, overeating, undereating, overworking, emotional outbursts, anger. You know, when you're at an 8 or 9 on that volcano, it doesn't take much for you to explode, right? So anger could be a way that you're coping because you're trying to get out all of that pent up frustration, but it's not actually helpful because it can harm relationships and create additional stress, and you're actually not getting to the root of the problem. So, and then neglecting your health care, neglecting yourself, all of those things are taking you in a direction you don't want to go. So you probably are saying, we don't want to do that this year. This year, we want to do something that's taking us where we want to go, that's taking us one step closer to our dream life. And that's where these daily disciplines that I'm going to talk about next come into play. Because you can make a 1% shift in one direction, and it can take you in a completely new direction in a year, in 3 months, in 5 years. Like, one shift can take you in a completely new direction, and you have the power and the control to do that. So let's talk about some of these daily disciplines that will help you to relight your spark. The first one is to get moving. Yes, like physically moving, like go for a walk, take your dogs for a walk, go for a run, get in the zone where you really don't have to think and your mind can wander. That's so meditative for us to get into that brain space where we're moving, we're taking action, but to be honest, we're kind of checked out, and our brain can do a lot of thinking and processing in this time. And so best without headphones, right? Without consuming, best when you're just thinking and letting your mind roam. But this is a very powerful stress reduction technique that also helps you to get back to what's important for you. Now, the goal here is to not go down monkey mind, freak out mode. Like, we're not solving the world's problems during this walk. But what we're doing is we're getting our body moving, and you're allowing your brain the space to breathe and the space to think. The other stress reduction technique that actually relights your spark is getting into community. Because one of the biggest things that we do when we are stressed is we withdraw. So to counteract that, we want to engage. We want to engage in community. And I think that we don't want to, when we're feeling stressed and anxiety, when we're feeling like our spark is dim. But that's one of the things that will add kindling to the fire to relight our spark. If you think through a fire, right? You've got the flames, and we all know what it feels like to love what we're doing, to be in the zone, to feel sparked and engaged and excited. But underneath that fire is wood. And underneath that wood is kindling. And that kindling are these small little like sparks that turn into that big flame. And those small little hinges, those small little daily disciplines stacked on top of each other is what creates the big flame to begin with. So moving your body, getting connected. That's why we offer certainly, like, I have one-on-one programs, but my main like what I love is the group community programs, because not only do you get to learn from me and we get to connect, but also you get to connect with other people in the Dream Life community and you get to hear their feedback. You get to get inspired by what they're doing. You build friendships with them. You want to show up each and every week and hear their stories and what's going on. And you get to see firsthand the transformation that goes on, not only within you, but within others in the group. And it's so motivating. The other thing that you want to think through, so we're moving, we're meditating, is your bookends of the day. So I want you to think through your morning routine and your evening routine. In 90 Day U-Turn, I give you both. I give you a morning routine with our journal, and I give you an evening routine with our hypnosis. And the goal here is that we're getting out of fight or flight mode and we're getting into rest and digest. And your body feels it. So ladies who come into 90 Day U-Turn are often in that overwhelm, stress, insecure, second guessing, all that stuff, right? Like we know that world. All of us have been there. But within the 3 months of working with us, they have learned these healthy coping skills. Maybe not even learned, like they probably knew them all the time, like already, right? But they had a reason to implement them now. And they had accountability and they had people who were doing it with them to learn these healthy habits, to exercise, to drink more water, to journal in the morning, to do their hypnosis at night, to focus on these growth focused activities throughout the 12 weeks that gets them out of this fight or flight mode into rest and digest and realigning their dream life pathway. Head, heart, feet. Do you know what you want? Do you believe it's possible? Do you know how to go get it? And when you are in dream life alignment, oh baby, the how starts to show up for you. And it's often a surprise, right? We tell people plan, right? Plan where you want to go. We want to have a game plan. We want to have actions. We want to know what we're doing. Like we want to feel like we're moving in a purposeful action, in a purposeful direction. But we keep the how open, like a surprise, right? For example, someone could sign up as a customer the last day of the month and you didn't even they weren't even on your radar. Or somebody's going to say, "Oh wait, can I upgrade to become a distributor?" Or I'll have someone say, "Oh my gosh, I've been watching you for a while and I'm ready to become a coach." And it's a surprise, and we welcome all surprises, positive surprises, good surprises, right? But it's because we're moving in a purposeful direction. A parked car doesn't move. You got to be moving in order for that next step to come. And so I want to invite you to our next round of 90 Day U-Turn. We start next week, January 14th. I call it a loving kick in the right direction, where we are going to be not only getting you out of fight or flight mode, out of stress and overwhelm. We have tons of different exercises to help you gain clarity for what you want next and really listen to, what is my body trying to tell me? What is this stress and anxiety trying to tell me? So then we can hear, learn, do something different, and align our dream life pathway. I have a girl who took 90 Day U-Turn just a few months ago. I think the last round. So it's been 3 months since she ended, 6 months from when she started. And when she started, her house was on fire. Anytime I talked to her, everything was falling apart all around her. Like she couldn't get a handle on it. It was like everything. And then after 90 Day U-Turn, she was walking again. She had started losing weight. She was journaling. She was time blocking. Like we do a lot of time management stuff. So she was taking those big tasks and breaking them down. And she was meeting with her dream life coach. And she was getting a handle on things. And within 3 months of ending 90 Day U-Turn, her business tripled. And you know what? My guess is it wasn't because of a script. It wasn't because she did something totally new and different that made her business triple within 3 months. It's because she was different. She was open and ready for that miracle to show up. She was welcoming it. She was expecting it, right? She already had the gratitude for it. Like she changed, and then everything else around her changed too. I mean, it works every time. Like, it's so mind blowing to me, but it works every time, and I'm always still so mind blown. I love it. But the doors are currently open. We only take a handful of ladies. It's a women's only program. Not only do you get 12 weeks of content from me, 12 lessons, with a PDF that like a worksheet that you do at your own time, but we meet together each and every week, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern over Zoom to connect about that week's lesson. You also get paired with a Dream Life coach for one-on-one connection throughout the 12 weeks, which is why I truly call this a loving kick in the right direction. Not only do you learn and you'll be inspired, but you'll have community. You'll have the daily tracking for the daily habits and challenges, and you will make that 1% shift that will take you in the direction that you want to go. So what questions do you guys have? I'm going to post the link below, but I'd recommend getting started or reach out to me if you've got any questions on Facebook or Instagram. I'd love to connect with you. But here's what I know, you guys, right? If you want something different, you got to do something different. And if you want to stay spinning your wheels, go for it. But I don't think you're here because you want to do that. You want to level up. You are ready to take this year and say, all right, I'm going to let go of the things I can't control, but I'm really going to hone in on what I can control, and I'm going to actually go for it. You will see way more results in community than you ever will on your own. And we invite you into the Dream Life fam. So I'm going to put the post or the comments here. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, you'll see the link to join in the show notes. We would love to have you. The doors close in just about 48 hours. So be sure to get started with us today. And, this is kind of cool. There is, you can have a Klarna or Afterpay option, I just realized. And so it can make the payments like $64 a month. So I say it's worth it. Like, doing this work for years, I have seen transformation again and again and again, and it might as well be you. So let's make 2025 your year that you get your spark back. Have an awesome day, you guys. We'll see you soon.